And people are speculating. By the way, we haven't got an official word that Meg has fired the Quinn Emanuel people. Again, those are the lawyers that we did the deposition, and I spun them like a gig. Yeah, so in reality, we don't know if she fired them, but she did hire new lawyers for a case that already has a final judgment.
The one.
Chat, I'm not going to lie to y'all. Have y'all seen that Meg Thee Stallion? Meg Thee Stallion is now hired. She's hired some new lawyers. Now, she's not giving up on this plight here, chat. She's trying to, if you ask me, she's trying to win a legal spat versus Milagro, but she already did. However, it's not about collecting lost earnings or even legal fees. It's about getting the big headline, the headline that says, hey, I just bankrupted a blogger for not pretty much sucking my dick, right? She wants blanket love, adoration, and she wants sympathy. So she just hired some new lawyers for the case that got finished. Let me see if I can find it. Everybody knows that her lawyers have been from this really established and prestige firm called Quinn Emanuel's. And she's now hired one of Trump's lawyers, okay? She's hired one of Trump's lawyers to represent her. And here we go. And look like this is going to be for post-judgment motions and probably trying to think about this. She's paying more lawyers, which to do probably two things that's relevant at this point. Try to get back her attorney fees for her other lawyers, since she did win on 2 counts, and also to probably put an injunctive order in to ban Milagro from ever speaking about her again, right? Which the courts can do, right? Now, Judge Joe Brown has talked about this particular lawsuit, and check this out.
Cooper ultimately prevailed on Miss Pete's leading accusation, which is defamation, and the jury awarded a nominal amount of damages compared to millions of dollars Miss Pete, aka Megan Thee Stallion, demanded from Miss Cooper throughout the course of the litigation.
This is one of those cases most probably should have been resolved with $1 in damages.
Right. And now Megan Thee Stallion attorney said in a statement after the jury's verdict on Monday that Cooper is also required to cover costs of the rapper's legal bill.
That gets ridiculous. The fees that they charge today are obscene. And the attorneys, not all of them, but for the most part, are so inexperienced in their craft with so few trials and so few clients that they're essentially amateurs.
Now,
and what they do when I look at it and I'm watching and say, that's very pathetic, just absolutely pathetic. And they
Now, here's the thing, and people are speculating. By the way, we haven't got an official word that Meg has fired the Quinn Emanuel people. Again, those are the lawyers that we did the deposition, and I spun them like a gig. Yeah, so in reality, we don't know if she fired them, but she did hire new lawyers for a case that already has a final judgment put in. But I do believe that Roc Nation, and this is where Roc Nation comes in, I think they sent out the rookie squad. They sent out the G League team, and they said, listen, we're $1 million firm. Even our G League team should be able to beat Milagro's A team because she broke comparatively. And what happened is that Quinn Emanuel's team of rookies, and by the way, I looked up all those lawyers, right? From the Sullivan dude to Happer, whatever her name is, to Joanna Manillo, the one who you saw me arguing with. And there was a host of other lawyers. they're fresh out of law school. They just came out like, when Manila, she's like a nobody in reality. But they're relatively new, and it's kind of embarrassing that Meg took this to all the way to trial, and they didn't give her the big wigs. Why? Your Roc Nation may have set her up. Meg, you should look into that. Keep in mind, you testified, from my recollection, that it was years ago or some while ago that Desiree Perez, the CEO of Roc Nation, told you she was keeping a file on certain individuals who may have been media members or bloggers that you could pursue a lawsuit. When you decided to pursue a lawsuit, you used the same law firm as the representing firm for Roc Nation. So I would have to imagine, just by a logical conclusion or a logical assumption, actually, that you got recommended that lawyer from Desiree Perez and Roc Nation. Now, here's the thing. You see, when they were suing Jay-Z, and they said that Jay-Z, R-worded some kid with Diddy, they didn't throw out these rookies here who's leaving up their Slack channels or Slack chats on the screen that I could read it and screenshot and do all of that, right? They didn't send out those rookies. You know who they sent out? They sent out Mr. Big Bad Alex Spiro. You should know this, Meg. If they didn't give you Alex Spiro, they playing with you and they played with your time. You being in court, or the court proceeding happening for over a week, you probably spent more than $59,000 in terms of transportation, accommodations, having to be down there in Florida, bodyguards, food. You're a celebrity. It takes a lot to move around. You probably spent a lot of money. Your time is worth way more than that. They sent out the G League squad, and you got shellacked. So I see why, again, I don't have any confirmation on this, but I see why the new lawyers that you have added to the case, maybe they could somehow get a moral victory. Now, you did get a victory in court, 2 out of 3, but because it was what and even in this broadcast it said a nominal amount, $59,000, compared to what you were asking for, or what your lawyers were arguing for, up to $30 million. I see you're trying to get the win on paper. Just not looking good, man. You need to go holler at Roc Nation, ask them why they sent you out with the rookies. Why the fuck did they send you out with the rookies? That's the problem. They sent Meg Thee Stallion out with the rookies, and now they're saying now the new lawyers that she just got handled a lot of things for Trump. So this is the big dog, right? Trump versus Michael Cohen. Trump versus ABC News and George Stephanopoulos, which, by the way, remember I talked about this defamation lawsuit that came for $15 million, right? So Trump got $15 million in a settlement for that, okay? They also handled Trump versus Wall Street Journal, defamation as well, okay? They handled Trump versus New York Times, which was a refiled defamation lawsuit, okay? And there's another defamation, the Trump versus BBC, okay? So essentially, they got the specialists for defamation based on the rookies who just allowed maybe a gigantic fumble. So the fumble in the defamation claim was that they didn't notify Milagro, and if they didn't notify Milagro, they if she's considered media, she can't be held. You can't sue her. You can't sue her till you notify her that she's defaming you. You got to send a cease and desist or something of the sort. They never did that. They just filed a lawsuit, and that therein kind of shows that Quinn Emanuel or Roc Nation's legal team, you were working with the G League. They didn't even do the things that qualified them to file the lawsuit, which is send a cease and desist. All they had to do was send one. And because they didn't send one, the whole charge got dismissed. So they've gotten now a big dog And we'll see. It looks like they're still committed. They're pot committed at this point. They're going to be dumping much more money into trying to sue, appeal, trying to get whatever they can. And I wouldn't be surprised if now we might see maybe further actions against other bloggers who haven't repeated maybe the things that Mrs. Pete likes, right? So we'll see. We'll see. All right. Oh, and it's Alejandro Alex Brito of Brito PLLC. He's the one who filed the lawsuit in the Southern District of Florida against ABC News, and George Stephanopoulos. Okay, look like they work out of Florida. They work out of Florida. Okay, all right, good to know. Let me see. Didn't really get to cover this. By the way, chat, I see some of y'all saying I should, maybe cover politics for maybe 15% of what we do. Obviously, we'll never be a political show, but maybe we could do a topic or two. I will tell you one thing. Obviously, I'm definitely interested in the Candace Owens thing. Right now, it's Candace Owens